everybody. This is Kelly Zitlow with the American Dream TV show. And today I am excited to bring together this group of real estate agents to talk about what the home and shelter situation has done to real estate in respective communities. So I am going to welcome each one. Mike Shaw out of Northern California. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Kelly. Really happy to be here.
Yeah, Rachel Swan, also Northern California.
San Francisco, thanks so much.
All righty. And Trisha Turner out of Houston, Texas.
Hi, y'all.
Welcome. Well, let's just jump into it. Home and shelter. Let's start with you, Mike. Tell us what impact this is having on your market with regard to real estate, people selling houses, buying houses, and all that goes into that.
Great, Kelly, thank you. Thanks so much for having us here today. You know, it's a different time. We're in a sort of unprecedented, uncharted territory here. San Francisco was one of the first cities to implement shelter in place, which I'm really grateful for because it's really helped to stem the curve of the virus, but it's also impacted our real estate. So what we're doing here is really utilizing video and virtual showings, virtual staging. Presently, San Francisco and the Bay Area does not allow us to show property in person. I'm hoping that will change soon, but we're really starting to think outside the box. You know, we need to reassure our clients every day that we're here for them, we're helping them in whatever needs they need to put forth, and help people stay safe and remain calm and supported.
That's great. So it's virtual everything, right? I mean, really just being creative, thinking outside of the box and figuring out how to be able to bring sellers' homes to potential buyers and do that in a virtual format.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're doing virtual staging. We're doing virtual showings. Virtual is the new word.
I love it. I love it. Rachel Swan, what are you seeing in your neck of the woods? You guys are very close, right? You're San Francisco and also San Francisco?
Right.
We are. We've done some deals together. He's a great guy, one of my awesome colleagues. Different company, but same regions that we're in. So happy to be on here with them. You know, let's talk a little bit about it. You know, we're talking about a virtual world, right? But I've got several deals that have went into contract since we've had our shelter in place. Also navigated a few that were already in contract. And at the end of the day, people still want to see the home in person. So, you know, we're doing some crazy things here. I mean, we might be breaking out some Breaking Bad outfits and donning gloves and, you know, getting into a house, turning on all the lights and then running to your car and looking like a total freak. But hey, people are in the house by themselves and Lysol wipes before and after. So I've never used so many Lysol wipes in my life, but you do what you have to do, because I think what's really important about the roles of everybody up here is we're in uncertain times. And the reason that all of us continue to work is so that we can provide financial certainty, a continuation in some regard for our clients. So that's what we're doing here. We're thinking outside of the box, and we're getting creative in a whole different way than we're used to.
I just had one of those visuals of like a hazmat suit, you know, a prospective buyer, and you have them enter into the hazmat suit and then they go into the house. I don't know, that could be like taking it too far, but you know. Anyway.
It might be a slight exaggeration, but I would say, Kelly, best power suit ever.
I love it. Trisha Turner out of Houston, Texas. Tell us what's going on there.
You know, here I've got a brick and mortar office and I run a large team. And so my main focus, of course, is my clients. But we have shelter in place here too. We're on, as of today, we're on week 3, but we are an essential business. And so it's literally at this point, just keeping deals together and reminding everybody, hey, we are here for you still. We're still marketing your house. We're still trying to get your house sold. But, you know, like I've told all my agents, when every day on the news, there's some kind of negative thing that they're seeing, they're paralyzed right now. So a lot of buyers aren't making a move. You know, they're watching and they're waiting. What is going to happen? And so here in Houston, we're kind of in like a hold pattern where we're moving, you know, we got one foot on the gas and one on the brake. And we're like, we really want to press the gas pedal really bad, but we know that we're being gracious right now because people are panicked and they're freaking out. And so it's more or less being a resource for them, and, you know, just making sure we're checking on them and everything is okay with them.
No, I'm
Feelings
interested-
first, humanity first.
Humanity first, absolutely. I'm interested in knowing where your market was prior to COVID, as far as just inventory and how that was looking, and then really what your local market projections are coming out of it. And I realize some of this is going to be hard, but tell me what you're thinking. So Tricia, I'm going to direct this to you. I mean, were you in a limited inventory prior to this? And what are you feeling? Are you still having a lot of interest, but people just aren't quite pulling the trigger on writing an offer? Tell me what you're seeing.
So here, usually our season starts around March. We had already seen the season starting in January. So we were on pace to have an amazing seller's year. I mean, our inventory is low. We were between 3 and 4 months of inventory, which for us is a seller's market. And so we're excited about that. And then all of a sudden this coronavirus came, of course, and put a huge halt to everything. So still have a housing shortage here, but we're anticipating Q3 and Q4 to be explosive. I mean, we are all ready for that. So we believe it's going to be rebounding quickly here.
I'm hearing that about a lot of markets across the country. Rachel, can you give us an answer to that question?
Yeah, I mean, I would mirror what Tricia has to say. And, hold on one second, because, now that we're in the work from home, we've also got four-legged friends who are coming into the picture. So got to keep everybody at home happy too. San Francisco was the same thing. We had, definitely a seller's market. It's our busy season. I had 100 people through my open house the day before our shelter in place went into play. And I think, some of us were aware that that was happening. I think some buyers were aware it was going to be happening, and there was a mad rush, especially for people who really needed a shelter to even be in place. So I think that's important for us to think about. I think right now is a great time. Honestly, I think people need to think of the time now as an opportunity. You still have low rates. There's some really great deals out there. I'm seeing a ton of investors out there who have pulled their money out of the markets to shelter that in a place, if we could say that. And, I think when we come out of it, I think it's going to be busy, but I do think you're going to have massive inventory. So I wonder about softening prices. And so we're just using the opportunity that we have right now to try and help people realize what opportunities there are out there for them.
Great, thank you. Mike, what is your thought about that?
So, I mirror what both of the ladies have said as well. San Francisco has been a booming market. We went into this coronavirus, all cylinders go. And in fact, just when the shelter in place came down, our team put all of our current listings that were on at that time into contract because people knew that they had to get in quickly. And then there was this waiting period, waiting to find out whether we were going to get appraisals done, which now we are. And so we are moving forward with closing deals. But I do think that we're in an unknown time. One of the things that I'm telling our clients now is that we need to let go of the past and start looking towards the future, because we can't go back to where we were. All we can do is take with what we have and create the new reality. And that new reality is going to look different. None of us really know what that looks like, but I think if we stay optimistic, we stay ahead of the curve, and we're here to serve our clients, things will move forward in a really positive way. And San Francisco is a resilient market. I've been doing this for 23 years. I've been through 2 major downturns. We've always come back better and stronger than we were before.
That is great insight. Mike, what are the big challenges that you're facing right now? So obviously home and shelter in itself is a challenge, but if you have a buyer that's utilizing financing, what are you seeing there? What are you telling them? What are you hearing on the street from the lenders, et cetera?
So if I'm working with a buyer, it's really important that a couple of things happen. One is we have a COVID addendum, which gives the buyer some extra protections, some extra time if needed. We're also keeping those financing and appraisal contingencies in place until close of escrow, because you really just don't know right now. And if one thing is going to throw a deal off, it's almost always financing. So when I'm working with a buyer, I think having those added protections is really key.
That's fantastic advice. Tricia, we were chatting before we got started. Tell us what your challenges are with regard to financing and in this type of market?
Well, there's a couple of them. I traditionally work in the luxury market, and so that has been one here that's been hit really hard because of this, because jumbo loans are really hard to get right now. The lenders aren't wanting to do them. And so unless you've got a relationship with a local bank, it's really hard for financing right now. And, you know, even if you've got to clear to close on a file, all of a sudden they're doing field reviews and they're taking another look at that file before we actually get to the closing table. So the luxury market is really critical right now, and just being laser focused on, is that lender sure that this is going to get done? Because at the end of the day, the seller does need to sell the house, and we need to make sure we get to closing on time.
Yeah. And I have a lending background, and one of the things that I would just stress is that realize that this is a fluid situation and people's job security is changing. And so, you know, that is one thing that a lender is always going to be focused on now more than ever, probably up until the day of close of escrow. So just whether you're a listing agent or a selling agent, I think, I'm sure y'all are thinking about that, but it's probably more real now than it ever has been.
Yes, definitely. And just educating, I think, buyers and sellers what could happen, because right now everything is changing on a day-to-day basis. And so we just don't know.
Rachel, I'd like to move to you and just wrap up with mindset. So what is the mindset of where you're at right now and where your clients are, and what would be some advice that you are giving your community?
You know, I think you've got to stay positive in times like this. I mean, I've been through the downturns in the past. I've seen what happens. You know, there's always a silver lining, and you typically have a bright light at the end of the tunnel. And I think we have to realize it's more than about real estate. It's about our clients, right? If you've been in this business long enough, our clients are our friends. It's just supporting people through tough times, being there for them, helping them understand what position they're in and what the times are like that they're in, helping them make a decision that maybe it's a great time to buy, but maybe it's not for them. And so just really taking care of our agents, our, you know, collaborating with our colleagues, and just, you know, working together so that we can get through this, no matter how that looks. And so I think it's about being supportive and, you know, keeping a really positive attitude.
I love that. Mike, what are your closing thoughts on mindset and what you're sharing?
Well, I agree with Rachel. I think that being positive in this time is so key. Our clients are really looking towards us for advice on what they should be doing with these major financial decisions. And really the focus has to be on everybody's personal safety, health, and well-being. You know, the well-being of our clients is absolutely a paramount priority. And those people who need to sell, we will facilitate that. And those people who need to buy, we'll be there for them as well. But I'm also all about calling those elderly clients and finding out if I can go to the grocery store and pick up some food, or if I can help somebody in any way. My lead question to my clients right now is, what can I do for you? Not how can I help you sell real estate? So we'll get back to that. It will become a normal market again, and I trust in that. But right now it's really about personal relationships and one-on-one.
I love that. It's really about just humanity, right?
It is.
And caring for people and having empathy. I love that. So Trisha, we'll wrap up with you. Mindset in Houston, Texas, and what are you sharing with your people?
So I am a big proponent of the morning routine. I have a very regimented morning routine. I harp on it with my agents every day. And I think now is critical that you continue having a positive morning routine, a regimented morning routine, because just because you're working from home and you're shelter in place doesn't mean you need to sleep in. You need to feed your mind, body, and soul now more than ever, every day.
Gosh, I could not agree with that more. Well, thank you guys. The American Dream is committed to bringing positive news to our communities. And thank you each so much for coming on and sharing your thoughts. And we do look forward to when all of this passes. But in the meantime, keep doing what you're doing.
Thank
you.